And right now we want to go to someone who is so dear to the Reverend Jackson, one of his children, Santita Jackson, joining me now over the phone. Santita, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am first. Of course, our thoughts, our prayers are with you and your family, especially this morning. I would love for you to just share more about how you want people to remember your dad and how you will remember your dad.
Well, as a father, he was always present, and I couldn't ask for any more than that. That was the present of his life, was his presence in my life and in the lives of my siblings. But I hope that people will remember him as their champion, as someone who, when he fell down, he got up because he said the ground is no place for a champion, someone who gave the last full measure of his life in service. It's important for us to remember that he came to Chicago on a full scholarship to the University of Chicago to go to seminary. He was a seminarian, and he was an ordained minister, and he took that calling very seriously. He and our mother did. They were in ministry together. And it's just, it's been heartwarming to have felt the love from people, to have seen the tributes. But we've been feeling the love since his illness was announced. Mm-hmm. People have been reaching out to us in the airports, walking down the street. Every time I go someplace, they would say, "I'm praying for your father." And just know that as you prayed for him, we are praying for you, and the work will continue. That is what he would want us to do.
And we talked to Congressman Jackson earlier, and he was talking about, hearing his dad say, "I am somebody," and being a voice for the oppressed, for the voiceless, for the overlooked. I mean, so much of that will still resonate, those words and that message.
Well, the thing is, he was always looking to lift. In his 1983 speech, November 3rd, 1983, when he announced his run for the presidency, he said, "When I win, you win." And so as a result of his run, you got Geraldine Ferraro on the ticket. We cannot forget that he was the first top-tier candidate in American political history to pledge to put a woman on the ticket. The eventual nominee would not do that. None of the other candidates would. And he did that, so he pushed her onto the ticket. And so then you got Bill Clinton in a Reaganized America. He had laid the groundwork for Bill Clinton. He had also, of course, laid the groundwork for President Obama and Kamala Harris. But what he was doing was really, it's more than that, because he wasn't just trying to make a phenotypic change. He was making a philosophical change, making space for a Bernie Sanders, for progressive politics, where everyone is in and nobody is out.
I was just hearing from a few
I
of
think I hear his voice in the background. Is that it?
Yeah, we're actually seeing some of the speech. I'm actually going to ask my team to turn down the audio on this video a little bit so we can make sure to hear Santita. Earlier I was talking to Congressman Jackson as well about the Push Oratorical Society, all the kids on the South Side who I've been able to hear speak, and they said they're so inspired by your dad and his just being a powerful orator and the power of words and your messaging. I mean, that lives on, right, through these even kids here in Chicago.
Oh, absolutely. And I hope that the power of his words will live on, and the power of service. But Dr. King said that everyone can't be famous, but everyone can be great because everyone can serve. And so there are so many things that our father, that Reverend Jackson did, beyond our father, that Reverend Jackson Institution did, that people will never know about because he didn't discuss it. He just believed in serving, which is why, having been in a food line himself, we have been giving away food throughout the holidays. For more than 60 years, because he understands. As he said in his 1984 presidential speech, in 1988, I understand. I've been there. I've been poor. I've been down. I've been this. People have not believed in me, but I believe in you. If you just know that I do that I believe in you, that there's one person in this world who will fight for you, just know that I exist. And we have met people all over the world, all throughout Chicago, who feel that they are somebody because this one man believed in them. And so we see that with our children who are often ignored. In the oratorio contest, we give them a platform so that their voices can be heard, so that they can be amplified. And so that's just one of the things that we do. As Reverend Jackson would say, my mind is a pearl. I can learn anything in the world. And he meant that. And up with hope, down with dope. And he lived all of that. And so, and as he said, I am a public servant. And he lived to serve the public, the people. And he was a man of the people. He was never part of the elite. He was always part of the damned, the dispossessed, as he said in his 1984 convention speech. He was always the person on the outside. He would hold open the door that would be slammed by the people he let into the building, but that was okay, because he said the point is for them to win. We're going to be fine. And I just hope that people will remember that he loved them so. With all of his heart, he gave his last full measure, loving people. Just know that.
Santita, I know that grief will come in so many different shapes and forms and waves as the coming hours and days ahead. We appreciate you and your siblings joining us to share more. Thank you so much, and our thoughts are with you all.
May God bless you. Thank you very much.